Hey there you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to look at these little Calatheas again. If you remember a few months ago, I think 4 months ago, I think it was 3 months ago, I finally started buying Calatheas, and I don't know, I might be a little hooked. They're doing surprisingly well for me, mostly probably because I have them sitting on the coffee table right in front of me. When I get home from work, when I have dinner, when I watch TV, they're there. And I see them, and I find them fascinating, so I'm constantly looking at them. I pick up the pot and I admire them, I see what's happening. So I'm really checking the soil moisture. I don't keep watering them every day, but I do make sure that they are evenly moist. So just a little backstory on what I've been doing is, again, I've got the wicking pot. I've got just the regular 4-inch pot, and I put the wick in. I'm going to post the original video on how I planted these up with the wicking pot, just in case you're just tuning in now. So yeah, it is going to suck up the water as it needs it. I've got a pot here that has a punch up in the bottom, so the plant itself is lifted up off of the base of the pot, so I pour water into the base there, and it acts as a self-watering wicking system. So I don't really water the soil surface. I put water, I lift the plant out, I put water in here, and then we're good to go. And then within a few hours the soil is moist, it's never soggy, there's always good airflow into the roots, so root rot is less of a possibility, not impossible, less of a possibility when you do wick watering. As long as you use the right soil. If you have a soil that's way too dense, it can suffocate and become too wet. But if you have a nice airy mix, then the airflow and stuff, it works together. So yeah, so I picked up 2 more Calatheas because, well, I can't stop myself. So the ones that you do know of, this is the Calathea ornata. I believe this one's called Beauty Star. I've been looking them up online, and this one really represents the Beauty Star quite well. The regular ornata has a much more bold stripe, where this one is a lot more, I don't know, I want to say a little bit more delicate. And this one, I think, between this one and the Lancifolia, the rattlesnake plant, I think these are my favorite. I really want to look at these all the time, and they're fascinating. This one moves like crazy. At night it almost stands straight up. It's really, really cool, and the underside of the leaves are really beautiful. My least favorite of the group right now is this one. This one, one of you told me the name of this, and also I saw on Plantarina, the YouTube channel, Amanda has these as well, and it's a Vitara. I hope I'm saying that right, but it's also a variety of ornata. So there is a lot of similarities between these leaves. What I'm noticing with this one, the Vitara, is that this one seems to be more delicate. It could be because there's a lot more white in the leaf, and I find that when plants have a lot of white, you get a lot of discoloration, you get a lot of deformities, you get, I don't know, the plant just doesn't really, it's a little harder to care for. When you get too much white, it's almost impossible to keep them pristine. Not impossible, just really, really difficult. So yeah, this one's starting to finally put out some new growth, but I'm noticing that I'm getting a lot of discoloration. So this one seems to be a little bit more fussy. This one I might have to switch to a distilled or a filtered water, or maybe during the summertime I'll try rainwater and see what happens. But yeah, see, I've got some curling here and some browning. I'm just going to trim that off. That's from the old plant. This one here is starting 2 new growths. This one is a new growth that's starting right here. I don't know whether you're able to see by my finger. We got a new leaf starting. And then we've got this one on this side. We've got a new leaf starting. But it's this one is a very slow grower comparatively. I've only gotten 1 new little baby from it. The other new one that I got here is a Medallion, the Calathea Medallion, and this one here is doing beautifully. They're all in 4-inch pots, maybe a 4.5 or 5-inch pot maybe, but still quite small pots. They will have to be upped in their pot size as time goes on, because they're not going to stay this small forever. They're going to get in to be a nice little bushy plant, and I think between 2 2 feet tall, maybe. Some of them maybe a little bit taller. But yeah, the Medallion is doing really, really well. I had a little bit of a problem. This was the very first new leaf that came out on it, and it came out deformed. That could be because it was kind of in process when I purchased it, of emerging, and then the change in temperature and lights and all that stuff into my home from the garden center could have caused that little bit of a shock and caused some deformities. Because since then, well, there's a new leaf coming out there, as you can see, and it looks really, really nice. That is a new plant that started, and there's a new plant that started here. I'm spinning this around so much, I'm sorry. But this plant is growing famously, and there's also, I don't know whether it's gonna show up on camera, but in the pot, there's just a tiny little spike starting to grow. I don't know whether you're able to see down by my pinky there. There's a little sprout starting, so they're dividing really, really beautifully. And the other new one, what is this one? I wrote it down because I can't remember this. All of these cost me $8 each, so not a bad price. This one is Maiko Jana. I hope I'm saying that right. This one is just a baby. They do get much bigger than this, but it's growing famously. I've got 4 new growths already starting, 5 new growths on this, I think. So yeah, it likes where it is, I guess. And I've had this one for maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and yeah, I really enjoy the foliage. It's got a really nice variegation or color pattern to it, and I really like that. So super fun. I've got to repot this. I don't know what I'm going to repot it into. I'm hoping to find some more of these pots because I find that this is the easiest way to go for me. But I might just go with a deep pot and raise it up, and then maybe put some stones or something, and then I could still do the wicking down below. I find that the wicking method is very easy for me. This one I'm finding hard to keep moist because I actually have to water the pot. And I don't want to have it sit in water. That's one thing. Again, don't let it sit in water. That will cause root rot, which makes bottom watering hard if it's not wicking. So what I'm noticing right now with these guys is, look at all the new growth on this. This is a nice, it's a beautiful plant. I don't know if you're able to see all the little stems in there, but it's growing famously. What I'm starting to notice here on this particular one is the Lancifolia, is I'm getting little brown edges. I don't know if you're able to see down there. On some of the older growth, they're getting some of the brown edges. I'm okay with that, but I'm going to experiment with different types of water to see what happens. My tap water isn't terrible, but I could try using some filtered water. I do use my tap water for my Nepenthes, my carnivorous plants, as well as my Sarracenias outside, and they do fine. I'm under 200 parts per million on average, so it's not awful water, but it can always be better, right? So we'll give that a try, see what happens. But I do have a little bit of discoloration starting, and I believe that's just from water quality. It could have also been fertilizing. I tried to do a little bit of a fertilizer. I do a liquid fertilizer, and I did it very light. But it could be that, mixed with maybe a higher ppm in my tap water. It could have put it just a little bit over the edge for salts. But we'll see. We'll experiment and try these out. I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on how they're doing, and yeah, I'll leave you with a photo of them all together. They're really beautiful, and I think I covered everything. Oh, they're in a well-lit spot. They're in a let's say a north window, and they're about 5 or 6 feet away from the window, but they get beautiful morning sun, and they love it. They absolutely love it, and I can't ask for anything more. I guess I'll also say the soil. Well, actually, just check the link above in the card, and you'll see the soil that I use is just a very airy peat-based soil that I added some orchid bark to, and that will really help the situation. Yeah, just wanted to share it with you, and show me your Calatheas. I'd love to see what you're growing. Post them to either Instagram and tag me, or perhaps post them to the Plants and Things What's Growing page. So I'd love to see what's happening in your area, and yeah, check out the beautiful Calatheas all together.